morning, boys and girls, and it is great to be back with you. We are doing math today, and I hope you are all being fantastic mathematicians. Remember, it is okay to make mistakes. It is okay to not know, but it is not okay to not try. Remember? So, we are going to talk about geometry, and there's going to be fun things we're doing today. Let's start with our standard. Our standard is partition circles and rectangles into 2, 3, or 4 equal shares. Describe the shares using the words halves, thirds, half of, a third of, etc. And describe the whole as 2 halves, 3 thirds, 4 fourths. Recognize that equal shares of identical wholes need not have the same shape. Our question for today: how can I partition circles and rectangles into halves, thirds, and fourths? So we are going to talk about that big, long standard, and we're going to unpack it. I know you're impressed with my 5 feetness, all of my 5 feet. So, partition. I'm looking at that word and I'm like, oh, Mrs. Chuck, what is that?
I think I know.
Tell me.
To divide into equal parts.
Wow, and how did you know it means to divide? Because what do you see a special word in there?
Part.
Part. So I am going to make equal parts. So we're going to make parts out of circles and rectangles, which we talked about those 2D shapes last week, right? Into 2, 3, or 4 shares. So we have 2, 3, and 4 shares that are equal, which means if I get 2 of something, Miss Williams gets 2 of something, okay? So it's equal. And we're going to, so that's the first thing we're going to do. And I'm going to take this, and I'm going to label this number 1, okay? We're going to partition circles. The second thing we're going to do is describe the shares using the words halves, so 1 half, thirds, which I see the word 3 in there, a third, and a half of, or a third of something. So we're going to be able to describe it. You're going to tell me that's a half of a candy bar. That is a third of a rectangle. That is 1/3 of. Then, our third thing we're going to do is describe the whole, like the whole shape, as 2 halves, 3 thirds, 4 fourths, okay? And our final thing, we're going to recognize that equal shares of identical wholes need not have the same shape. So, and we're going to get more into that in one more day. So, because the standard will be for a couple of days. So, first we're going to talk about partitioning circles into rectangles and circles. First, let's talk about a partition. And we talked about how we see the word part. We're going to make equal parts. So we have halves in this beautiful blue box here. How many halves do you see?
2.
2 halves. So if I have half of a candy bar, I am breaking it into how many pieces?
2.
2. So 1, 2. 2 make a half. Next, over here, thirds. So we go 2 and then 3. So thirds. Count with me.
1, 2, 3.
How many pieces do I have in here?
3.
3. And we know that a third of something is divided into
3 parts.
3 parts or 3 equal shares. Very good. So, and therefore, Miss Williams, Miss Chuck, and Miss Patsis each get a piece of the pizza. Now, and it has to be equal parts, because if Miss Williams got this much and Miss Chuck got that much, that's not going to be fair, is it? Mm-mm. And I would be very sad, very sad. So, especially if it's pizza. So we want to make sure that when we're dividing it, we are careful to make sure that it looks equal, okay? We want to take our time. We don't want to give this guy over here this little corner and the rest of this guy get the whole other Hershey bar. So you want to make sure you take your time and say, does it look equal? Is it fair, okay? It's like when I was growing up, I have big brothers. I'm the youngest, only girl, okay? So my dad would say, sure, y'all can have graham crackers. And he would give us the case and he'd do whatever dads do. My brothers would split it, but then all of a sudden I'd get the little short nubby end. That wasn't an equal share. So my dad finally had to make the rule. Whoever breaks it, the next person gets to take it. So you became very careful about making equal shares. So remember that story, okay? That you want to make sure we're making equal shares. So we have halves, which is 2. Thirds, which is 3. Now we're going to go to fourths, okay? Fourths. Count with me. Ready? Go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Very good. How many parts do I have in a fourth?
4.
4. So there are 4 fourths, correct?
Correct.
And there are 2 halves, 3 thirds, okay? Ooh, so we have 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to talk about fifths, which fifths make sense because I see the word fifth in there. 5. Ready? Let's count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Excellent. So how many parts do I have?
5.
5. I have equal parts of 5 equal parts. Now, we're going to talk about not equal, okay? Does this look equal?
No.
No. So we're going to make sure that when we divide, we want to make sure that it is 2 equal parts. How about these guys? Do these all get the same amount?
No.
No. That's not the way to share, right? So we want to make sure, now let's focus up here on our examples and non-examples, okay? Yes, this is an equal share, not equal share. And these are halves, okay? How many shares do I have here?
3.
3. What do I call 3 equal shares?
Thirds.
Thirds. So these shares are called thirds. Are these equal shares?
No.
No. And therefore they are not thirds. There's just 3 parts, okay? Look over here. Ooh, how many parts do I have?
4.
So I've partitioned or parted it into
Fourths.
fourths because I see the word 4 there. This definitely, not happening. This is not an equal part, okay? This one's my favorite because it lets you be creative and it lets you think outside the box, okay? Okay? Over here, I have 4 different ways to show equal fourths. You can make 4 small boxes. You can make 4 small triangles. You can make 4 Kit Kat bars, or you can make 4 Hershey bars. Okay? You can make them vertical or horizontal. So that gives us another way to think about drawing a half, a third, and a whole. As long as everybody gets an equal share, it is considered a half, a whole, a third, a fourth. Okay? So let's talk about our guided practice. Ready? We are going to show each square in halves, okay? we're going to show each square in half. So look at my line. Is this equal?
Yes.
Yes.
So we cut it one way. And now I can go vertical and go up and down because this matches this. This is halves. Then I can go down my diagonal, the opposite corner, okay, and make halves because these guys are still equal. Or I could fold it like a hamburger bun. So you got tacos, you've got hamburgers, okay? Just like as if you were doing a paper in school. So that is how I showed each square in halves. I divided it 4 different ways. Tell which part of the whole each share is. And we're going to write under it a half of, a third of, or a fourth of, which relates back to our standard, okay? Which relates back to our standard. Describe the shares using halves, thirds, half of, third of, okay? We just partitioned circles into 2, 3, and 4, didn't we? Yes. Now we're going to step 2. Describe the shares using the words thirds, half, third of, okay? So, Miss Williams,
Yes.
how many equal shares do I have on that rectangle?
It looks like we have a fourth of.
We do, and how did you discover that?
Well, it's a rectangle, and it was divided into 4 equal parts.
Ooh, I like the way you did that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. And when we divide something into 4 equal parts, it is a fourth.
Fourth.
It is. So I'm going to use a fourth of and write it down here. Next, how many parts are in this circle?
3 equal parts.
Yes, 3 equal parts. Ready? 1, 2,
3.
3. And what did we say equal parts of threes were?
A third of.
A third, because I remember that third and 3 go together. So a third of. And now, our fancy box over here. Oh, didn't we just do it up here?
We did.
Yeah, so I see my directions show the square in halves. That's going to be a big clue to what's right down here. So we've used a third of, a fourth of. What do we have left?
A
half
half of.
That's right. And how many pieces, equal pieces, are in a half?
2.
2. So I'm going to write a half of. Now, let's do some. There we go. It says, draw the number of equal shares given for each shape, then circle the word that describes the share. So we are going to now go to step 4 and recognize that we don't have to divide it into identical shapes. And we're going to get more into that next week, okay? Or I'm sorry, in our next lesson. So 4 equal shares. Is that a half?
No.
No, halves are 2s. Thirds?
No,
No.
because that means 3.
That does. So I am left with fourths, and that is 4 equal shares. So if you're at home, if you have a piece of paper out, I want you to draw your rectangle, just like Miss Williams is doing. And it says, first, draw the number of equal shares. So, remember, just like our picture where you could draw things different ways and think outside the box, feel free as long as it is equal shares. You may draw in your rectangle, okay? So, Miss Williams,
Yes.
how did you draw your shape?
I drew 4 lines like a Hershey bar.
Ooh. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I am going to circle that, and it says, then circle the word that describes the shares. So first I drew, then I circle. And what word am I circling?
Fourths.
Fourths, very good. Can we come up with another way to divide the shape?
Yes, we could draw the
Absolutely.
lines up and down.
Ooh, we can. Let's take a look. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, and 4. Are those all equal shapes?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They are equal shares, absolutely. Trick question coming at you. Can you do it again?
Miss Chop, we can do corner to corner.
We can do corner to corner. So Miss Patsis was remembering our fancy picture here where we can divide. So
But
we've
Miss
done
Chubb,
this and
that
this.
was a rectangle, not a square. So I don't think we can. Would they be equal?
Let's try.
They look pretty equal to me.
They do look pretty equal to me. You guys agree in the video? I think so. All right. Now, let's go to question 2. 3 equal shares. First, we're going to draw the equal shares. Then we'll circle the word. So 3 equal shares. There's 3 of us in this room. I want the same amount as everybody else. I work just as hard. So, how are we going to divide this up? What are we going to do? How am I going to divide it into thirds? Can I do it like this?
No, Miss Chubb,
No.
that's not equal parts.
Nope. That's a no.
How about a Kit Kat bar?
Ooh, I like the Kit Kat bar. Give me a break. Give me a break. Right, and Miss Chuck seems to see that that one's a little bit wider, so I'm being careful with how I draw. That looks better. So we did a Kit Kat bar. Miss Patsis?
You could do a Hershey bar.
I can. So I went vertically, and now I'm going horizontally. I like it. And Miss Williams,
Yes.
3 equal shares is called a?
Third.
Yes, you did it! Woohoo! So I'm going to circle thirds. Technical difficulties. There we go. 4 equal shares. Okay? 4 equal shares. So if I was to divide it between me, Miss Patsis, Miss Williams, Miss Baumgartner, 4 equal shares. How am I going to make sure that each of us get the same amount? I remember my helpful hint from my visual learning tool. So I'm going to remember this and keep referring to these as I am studying and doing my my lesson. Okay, it's a great picture. 4 fourths. Okay. Oh, can I give you a minute to look that over?
There's a lot of ways.
There are a lot of ways. And which way would you choose, Miss Williams?
I like going diagonal.
Ooh,
From
that's
corner
fun.
to corner.
That is fun. Like that?
Mm-hmm.
Am I done?
No, that would only be halves.
That
We
would
need to
be.
do it one more time. There we go.
Just like a barn door.
Yep.
Okay? So I'm going to make a barn door with that one. Now, Miss Williams,
Mm-hmm.
you had brought up an excellent point. Take a look here. Does this look equal to that?
Not
No.
really.
So I don't think I can divide it because it does not look as equal as that.
So we might have
Because
to
our
go back and-
rectangle has longer sides, or I'm sorry, longer top and bottom, shorter sides. So therefore, it's not going to be the same, boys and girls, okay? So that was one way to divide it. How else can we divide it?
How about into 4 little squares like this, Miss Chuck? Like windows.
Ooh, I love the window. My boys and girls, you know when I tell you on your whiteboards, draw me a window, you know I ask you to make me 4 equal squares. So now I'm going to ask you when you come back, I hope to see you, I'm going to say instead of make a window, I'm going to say make me fourths. Make me a fourth of.
Third grade language.
Exactly. So, and this is going to help you with your fractions. This is laying the foundation for fractions, okay? We are laying the base for it. So if you get this, then it's going to start you off with fractions. Just like we did the repeated addition is setting you up for multiplication. This is setting you up for fractions and deeper fractions, okay? So, two students want to equally share a small pizza. Draw how to split the pizza into halves. All right, boys and girls, if you're watching, raise your hand if you want pizza. I do. Raise your hand if you think pineapple belongs on pizza. Yes! Oh, Miss Williams says no.
Pepperoni's my favorite.
Pepperoni. Pepperoni rocks. All right, so on our pizza, pineapple with pepperoni. Well, how are you going to draw this into equal halves so that we are all sharing the same? Go. I want you to think about it. Draw it on your little sticky piece of paper. And what did you come up with? Ready?
Miss Chuck, I think there's 2 ways we could do it.
Ooh. Are you thinking outside the box?
I am.
I am proud of you. Ready? How's the first way you solved it?
I put a line right down the middle.
Ooh.
Up and
Top to bottom. Oops. Top to bottom. I know it's hard to see. Top to bottom. How else could you divide it?
Maybe, in half.
Ooh, so we've been using these math words. So this is vertically. Maybe I want to go horizontally with
yes.
the horizon. Okay. So I could divide it like that. So I used 2 different colors so you could see. I'm not dividing it into fourths, I promise. But I'm just trying to show you because the pencil didn't show up so I couldn't erase. All right. Ready? 3 students. Oh, 3 students. Who am I going to pick? Maybe Leasia. Oh, if you're watching my video, maybe this one's for you. Raiden. We could pick Raiden and Sebastian. Okay, all 3 of you. I knew you wanted to hear your names. You want to equally share a tray of apple crisp. You are children after my own heart. This is my favorite dessert ever. Okay, so pizza and apple crisp, man, making me hungry. Draw 2 ways to split the apple crisp into thirds. This is one way. This is your second way. Okay, I want you to draw 2 different ways you can split the apple crisp into thirds. And how did you divide it up for the first way, Miss Williams?
I did 2 vertical lines, which makes 3 equal.
Vertical up and down. Yep, just like a Kit Kat bar.
3 equal shares.
Yes, I love that. And how did you do your second one?
2 horizontal lines, which makes 3 equal shares.
Yes, yes. So we divided that. All right. Last question. This shape is shown with 4 pieces. Ryan says the shape is in fourths. Is he correct? Think about it. Is it in fourths?
It is not in fourths because they are not equal shares.
Very good. So, on my paper, if you were with me, you'd be writing this in your math notebook. We will be saying, no, this is not force because it is not equal shares. Okay? Sorry about the writing. It's kind of hard to write with a marker. All right, boys and girls. Your task is to complete the online learning at Pearson. You have a daily math review, the video of visual learning with the cool little robot, and you have your independent practice, which looks a lot like that. Okay. Then you have iReady time, or there are additional sites underneath that you cannot get on iReady. Again, we are here for questions. If you don't understand what we taught, if it's confusing, or if you just need to see my smiling face because you miss me and love me, which I will totally do, call us, FaceTime us, Dojo us. We are here for you. Please let us know if you need anything. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow.